Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Hey everybody, Cowboy here. Nick Petrozello, aka it's 8:31 a.m. EST. And if you remember yesterday's show, we had 85,000 as a decision point, right? And price went right up to it and bounced and is still negotiating 85,000. That's for Bitcoin. So a lot of what's going to happen with Bitcoin has to do with the NASDAQ. So we're going to take a look at both. We're going to start with Bitcoin. So here we go. Let me take a brief look at the algos. Now, there's a little bit of gas left in the tank on this move up. And it's getting to the point where, I mean, it's a decision point. It's just like I keep saying, right? So I'm just looking at the algos right now. Let me flip back here. And I think what we're going to see, just based on what I'm kind of seeing on the crazy algo screen here, is we're probably going to see a range develop. And it might be for a day, a few hours, or a week. Hard to say. But the couple of choices we have, I think we're going to still have that 85,600, whatever it is, 85,730 is the number I've got right there. And we'll probably range between that and maybe your lower bound of, it could be as high as 83, bounce around in there, or you might see it go a little bit lower or even as low as 81. Either way, I don't expect this to last too long, but what's happened is that if you look back and the way that markets work, right, you get these massive moves, and this was a big move, especially this move that started right here on Thursday, February 20th, when Bitcoin was up at 100,000, and then you had this massive move down, and now you're seeing price kind of stabilize, right? You start a lot more sideways action. So you see big moves and then you see consolidations. So if I were to go back in time to September of 2024, you get this massive move up and then you have consolidation, right? That's just how it works. You get a big move and then you get sideways. Well, now we've seen a decently big move from 100,000 down to 76,000. That is a 35% move down. And now we're seeing sideways. Well, even on like the microcosm of that, the low end of that, what you're seeing is a big move down, right? A little sideways, and then a big move up compared to the moves around it. Maybe not as big as other stuff, but we're just seeing this typical big move, sideways, big move. Well, the quieter things get on the higher time frame, the longer these sideways moves go, right? And a lot of that's going to do with uncertainty. I know today is a tricky day. We have the Trump, what is it, Liberation Day, they're calling it, and it has to do with the announcements on tariffs. And I don't know when all that's going to go down. I think we just had some data released on some other items here. Let me see, Wednesday, non-farm. Okay, so non-farm was at 8:15 a.m. EST, and it was a little warm, right? So what that means is that the economy, according to the non-farm employment change, jobs were added. So by that metric, the economy is good. And by that metric, the market thinks, okay, we're not going to see a rate cut. And by that expectation, this would put some kind of downward pressure on price. But if you look at the way price is behaving, it's not really showing that downward pressure. And I think the reason we're not seeing a big reaction to the news is because of the Liberation Day stuff. This business of what are these tariffs going to look like? Is Trump going to backtrack? And I haven't seen any news yet. Let me go ahead and take a quick look at Zero Hedge. And we'll see if, in fact, okay, so Liberation Day game plan. Okay, I don't see any news yet. Nothing on it, right? See big ADP, biggest jump in manufacturing. So you're looking at a huge jump in employment, right? You would think that putting all this pressure on markets would hurt the economy, but it seems like it's doing okay. It seems like we're adding jobs rather than taking them away. So there's nothing yet on Liberation Day. There's just this game plan, right? So how to trade it, you could read all kinds of stuff, but all you need to know is there's a lot of uncertainty. So the markets are going to be pretty still. Now, as it stands right now, Bitcoin is a little bit bullish. We're seeing it rise against the dollar, which is the opposite of what you would expect in a scenario where the economy might be doing okay, at least in the short term, adding jobs. So it seems that the news is not really affecting things. I mean, there was a little bit of a jitter at the time of the news, So at this time though, until this Liberation Day thing is done, I'm not sure what to expect. If it's a nothing burger, then I think all signs point towards sideways for a minute, right? Because let's take a look at the Nasdaq, and you can kind of read a little bit in the tea leaves here. Nasdaq is bearish. So with the Nasdaq bearish, that's not going to put bullish pressure on Bitcoin. And I know everybody a couple of days ago was really excited about the Nasdaq. Oh, it didn't go down, it got held up. And if you look on this 30-minute chart, going back a day or two ago here on Monday, you saw that the Nasdaq was headed down very, very strongly. And then it got caught and pushed up right here. So right at 18.9, the Nasdaq all of a sudden met all this bullishness and pushed up. Now, what that looks to me like is what we call the plunge protection team. So a lot of people's retirement is sitting in the Nasdaq and the Dow and SP 500, and we have to understand that they can't let that fall too hard, too fast. And I say they, I'm referring to the establishment. And this is a huge thing because when people see the retirements melting away, they freak out. So it just looks to me like they waited, whoever they might be, until price was at a support. And that support was right there because you have price pivoting at this 19,000 area twice, going back to early March. So they found an area where they could get some mileage out. They let the market panic a little bit and go below that area and then pushed it up. And that move up is pretty strong. From 19,000, it's actually 18.9, all the way up to 19.6. That's a good, what is that, 4%, 3, something like that. In the traditional finance world, that is a massive move up, right? That's a big, big move up. That was 3.85%. So what did I say? 4%. So yeah, 4% is a big move. But if you look back, the Nasdaq is now down from its height here, which was at 22,300-ish. Nasdaq's down 15%. So in that one little quick move, it went back up 4%, right? So at any rate, the point here though is that, okay, that little move is great, but you see it already is starting to slide. And it's sliding in anticipation of this Liberation Day. And if it continues to slide and does not hold at 19, and now all eyes are really going to be on this 18.9 low right here. If price doesn't bounce there, if even today, tomorrow, whenever it is, if the Nasdaq continues down, and it's really sliding right now, this is not a good looking chart for the Nasdaq. This right here, where you see it kind of melting and just falling off, that's not good. That's a very bearish look. That's like whatever pushed this up is gone now, and it's just going to waterfall down. And it's a parabolic move down. It's on a lower time frame. It's only on a 30-minute, but it's still parabolic, right? So let's talk about what that means. Whenever you see price behave this way, when you see price have this kind of shape to it, like that, that's not good. Now, if it's on the way up, it's great. Parabolic buying is very healthy. You see something like that, and that's a very healthy sign. But of course, the opposite reigns true on a move down. So if this continues like that, even on the short term, it's not good. But if you look on the high time frame, right, that's just the 30-minute chart. If I go to the 3-hour chart, it also is showing some of that as well, because you just zoom out a little bit, and this right here was a parabolic move down right here. Let me fix this little drawing there. That's a little parabolic right there, right? That doesn't look good. These moves down are very unhealthy, but we know what it's about. At least we know what it's related to. Some say it's tariffs, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe it's tariffs indirectly. Some say it might be the European big money moving money out of our market in retaliation because we're not cooperating with, policy and things like that. Whatever it might be, the charts are telling us what's going on. And if I zoom out, the general look on this, let's see what the algos say. Yeah, this is a bit bearish, especially on the very high time frame. The very high time frame is bearish. The weekly is still really bearish. The daily is just getting beaten up. What I expect to see on the higher time frame is either, unless something changes, unless policy changes, then if I had to guess, and I don't like to forecast out this, very far, but if I had to guess, this Nasdaq's going to go down to like 17,000 easy. And it's going to look like this: hard move down, little inch up, hard move down, little inch up, like that. Now, at some point, we might see, maybe a bigger move up to grab liquidity, something like that. But in the end, right now, the NASDAQ looks like it's going to head down to 17, and it could happen a lot more quickly than what I just drew. And if we do see that, if the NASDAQ starts to break down below that 18,900 area that we saw where it got grabbed up on Monday and pushed back up, if it really especially melts down like we just saw right there, then everything's going to go down, most likely. Like Bitcoin should go down at that point because Bitcoin cannot withstand a market dump like that. At the moment, Bitcoin is holding, right? And there's a little bit of bullishness in kind of the midterm time frame. But in the end, if the NASDAQ goes down, I think Bitcoin's going to follow. As it stands right now, the NASDAQ kind of stabilized, but we'll have to see. Just eyes on the NASDAQ for Bitcoin. But right now, Bitcoin is being pushed up. Now, that might concern me because if it's being pushed up and the NASDAQ's falling, it might be that this is being pushed up so that, the larger money can fill their shorts. Let's take a look before we go to the private live lab at the Kingfisher.io. And we're going to see where the liquidity is here. Is this it here? Sorry, folks. Give me a second to, there we go. Kingfisher. Looks like I got to sign in. Apologies. Give me a second. Don't know why I got signed out. Okay. Let's, I don't want to do, there's privacy reasons why I can't do this right now. I'll go ahead and look at the liquidity for the private live lab. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, but I can tell you with Bitcoin, I looked yesterday, back to the charts really quick here. And I did look yesterday. There's a lot of liquidity up at 87, 88. That's where it was yesterday. You can see it because there's a big consolidation up there. There's natural liquidity up in that area. So price might be forced into this area. And what will happen is it will entice the longs. In fact, what I'm going to do is see if I can change the screen. No, shoot. I can't do this with it. Oh, you know what I can do? Let's see if I can do this. There. Now I can do this on a different screen. Give me a second. I want to get this out to everybody so they can see it. I don't want to just walk away and leave you guys. Just give me a second. Okay, good. So now we are back on the Kingfisher. Okay, it's going to make me go through all this. All right, let's see what the liquidity is here. Let's expand this. So these liquidations on the Kingfisher, this is just such a great app. And I have a link in the description that'll give you like access to this. And I believe it's going to give you discounted access. Now, this is free, but then there is the paid version, which is way, way better. There's so much good data on the paid version. Really recommend it. But right now, the big liquidation area right now is at about 85,800. So that's where price is going to want to go, 85.8. And there's a little more at 86.9. So the big actual target right now is 85.8. If I were to look at like how high it might go in the short term. So 85.8 and 86.9. Let's just put it on the chart really quick. 85.8 is just right at, that's that decision point. Like really right at that decision point. That's 85.8. And 86.9 is like right above it right here. So that's where you got it. Your price could go up and grab that and head down. So that said, I expect price to go up to at least 85.8 because there's a lot of liquidity there. And after that, we'll see if it heads up. We'll see if the liquidity map changes, so on and so forth. In the meantime, I just want to thank you all for coming. We're going to head over to the private live lab. Go ahead, look in the description. There is a free algorithm in there. If you just go in the description, there's a link, and that is going to be, an algo. Just give you your, first name, email address. I don't care if it's your real name or whatever. And then we'll send you an algo in the email, and, it'll teach you how to build that. Also, come on over to algofactory.tech. We teach people how to build their own trading method, right? So I say algorithm, it doesn't mean like coding or, computer stuff. It can if you want it to, right? If you want to code it, you can. I've coded mine. But when I say build an algo, I mean just a trading method. That's all. And we teach you how to do, we teach you how to treat trading like a business. We teach you how to do all the things like trading psychology that if you don't get these right, you're not going to be successful trading. And right now, the opportunity to pull money out of the market is never better than it was before. All that volatility, even though the market's heading down and it's crazy, all that volatility is still really good for trading. those of us who know how to do this, those of us who know how to take advantage of these moves down, we're making money. Everybody else is sitting on their hands mad because their crypto's going down or their stocks are going down. We're profiting. I'm telling you, we're killing it right now. AlgoFactory.tech. And yeah, Cool Cat said it. Dead cat bounce. That's what it looks like to me over on the NASDAQ. Looks like a dead cat bounce. But either way, AlgoFactory.tech. We will teach you how to trade like a hedge fund pro. And while you're at it, never forget.
Join us or die.
That's a joke. Just kidding. We love you. See you mañana, 8:30 a.m. EST.